door because the light's better right here near the window. Actually, you know what? I lost my war with coffee. This is definitely my third glass of the day. Today is, first of all, I can't believe it's snowing again. It's the middle of April. Look at this. It's ridiculous. I can't. Today is all about prioritizing. I have so many different projects. I'm trying to improve my website. I'm working on my my internet advertising for my work as a magician and for my work as a motivational speaker. I'm trying to finish the final edit of my book, or my final edit of my book, before it goes off to real professional editors and starts what I imagine is going to be a 3 or 4 month process to actually get it out and released and off to you guys. Later today, I have to go, well, I don't have to go. Later today, I'm driving, well, let's leave that as a surprise. I don't know what to prioritize, but I can tell you that what I'm doing right now, it's not helping my time management, just wasting time talking to the camera. Well, it's never a waste of time to talk to you guys, but this certainly isn't my priority right now. But I am vlogging today because of who I'm meeting later, so I needed to start the video somewhere, and I figured where better to start it than coffee. Why do I have this book? It's kind of a weird book to own. You may remember that about 2 months ago, I was outside of DC speaking at a patient experience conference for the Inova Heart and Vascular Institute. When I'm at these conferences, of course, I love meeting the audience members, people who come up after my presentations. I love meeting the people who booked me, who brought me in, and that's all. It's all wonderful. But I especially love meeting the other speakers, the other presenters, because these are people that, like me, believe with all of their heart in something, and they believe that whatever their something is can help make the world a better place, even in a small way. We were in the kind of the speakers get ready room, and all morning there's other speakers, other presenters from different parts of the day coming in and out, getting ready, and the whole morning there was a couple maybe in their mid-50s. They were very busy. They were getting ready, they were reading, they were on their phone calls and emails, and so I didn't really want to bother them, but I did meet them. I introduced myself, and in particular, the husband, he introduced himself as Marc Jaffe. And I went, where do I know that name from? Why do I know the name Marc Jaffe? But I couldn't place it. And we chatted at one point, just for a few minutes, and I had mentioned that I was a magician, who turned motivational speaker, and he started talking about his early career in comedy and working comedy clubs. And we were bonding over the magic and comedy thing. And I thought, Marc Jaffe, comedian. I still don't recognize. I don't know him as a comedian, but I know that name. Where do I know that name from? All day it was bothering me. It was just in the back of my mind every time I saw this guy, Marc Jaffe, Marc Jaffe, Marc Jaffe. And then finally, it hit me. And about 4 or 5 hours into our day, I went up to him, I said, Marc, I gotta ask you a question. I don't mean to make you uncomfortable, but are you the same Marc Jaffe that wrote for Seinfeld? And his wife was at her laptop. She stopped, looked up at him, and she went, honey, I can't remember the last time somebody recognized you from Seinfeld. Did you Google my name? And I said, no, I'm not a casual observer. I'm a diehard Seinfeld fanatic. These are the original TV Guide commemorative Seinfeld farewell finale issues from back in, look at this, May 1998. I found these last year in an antique shop. It's one of my favorite things I've ever bought. So we started talking, and I asked him. I said, listen, I have to ask you the dumb obvious questions. I said, did you work with Larry David? He goes, oh yeah. And we're still friends to this day. We saw him recently. He was helping us out with our charity. And he said we have my wife and I have a walk-on cameo during the most recent season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I was like, my mind is blown. So anyway, I had a selfie with him. And then he said, hey, let me grab one of my books for you. So he's a comedy writer, Sleeping with My Gynecologist. He went to sign it for me, right? He opened it up to make an inscription, which was really, really nice. In true comedy writer style. This kills me, ready? So he's writing it, and he doesn't realize that as he opened the book to set it on the table to write, that he folded the cover completely under itself. So as he's writing with all of his weight on it, he completely creased the cover of this brand new book that he's signing for me. So he hands it to me having no idea, and I'm left with this. And I thought, you know, that is the most Seinfeld thing that has ever happened. But he's not the only person I met at that conference of note. I am going to meet up with someone very cool, and I hope he's cool with having a camera on him. If he's not, I'll just tell you about it later. This is another speaker that I met at that Innova conference. He goes by Slim, and his whole platform is called Realizing Empathy. We were both speaking at this patient experience conference. You guys know what I speak about, obviously taking on other perspectives and learning how to make really powerful human connection. His whole thing is about empathy. Now, perspective taking and empathy are similar but not identical. In case you're curious, perspective taking is the ability to see the world from the point of view of another person. It's a tool, it's a technique. There is no emotion necessarily associated with doing perspective taking. It's just a tool. Empathy is being able to put yourself in their shoes and imagine what they would have been going through. Empathy is emotional. They often go hand in hand. You often use both at the same time. And we ended up doing a panel session, a Q&A with the audience. So we did this panel together, and we tag teamed off of each other so well that somebody in the audience said, you two should go on the road together. I cannot figure out how to get to this place. This is a weird, the Garden Grill. When he said, hey, let's meet at the Garden Grill, I was like, awesome, burgers. It's a vegetarian restaurant. It doesn't look like I'm about to find a restaurant though. I'm driving through like a suburban neighborhood here. Pet Value, Rite Aid. There's no way there's a restaurant here. Oh, and it's Garden Grill vegetarian. Look at that. Boom. So, where do we have the best light? We don't have any light because it's so dark. We've been here forever. So, why don't you?
It was not dark when we.
It was not dark when we got here. Why don't you? You want to introduce yourself here?
Well, so my name is Slim. My first name is Seung-chan. Last name is Lim. But you take S from my first name and put Lim to it, it becomes Slim. So I'm an executive coach to CEOs and co-founders of startups and small businesses. That's what I do.
That is amazing. We spent the last three hours talking about the business and speaking and the crazy downsides of being self-employed that most people don't see. Now, you guys know all about that because I talk about that all the time on this channel. Most of my followers are other creative people, or mostly they're creative people that are not living the life that they want to be living. They're working the job, they're working the 9 to 5, and they want to be a magician or a filmmaker or a comedian or whatever they want to be, and that's most of the people that follow me. So here's somebody who's been doing it even longer than me, quite a bit longer than me, and killing it.
Oh my gosh.
So yes.
Nobody's killing it.
He's got to get to a meeting.
Yes.
Got a meeting, and apparently I'm going to a networking event at 7:30 tomorrow morning. So I'm going to need to get some sleep. Sure.
Let's just say that he drove all the way from Connecticut to Providence. That's a long ass drive. Not anybody would normally do that. He is very, very generous, kind soul who is extremely inspiring. There's a lot of lasting memories I have from this conversation I'm going to take away today.
Well, 2 hours and 15 minutes later, I am local again, filling up the tank before tomorrow morning when I have to be up at the crack of dawn for a networking event, because the kind of people that I want to network with are the kind of business people who have like jobs and stuff. I'm gonna sign off here. It was amazing hanging out with Slim. We talked about so much stuff. He is the coolest guy. I knew that when I met him. We're gonna stay in touch for sure. I hope you will get to see more of him, learn more about his story, because his story is amazing. Slim, if you're watching this, thank you so much for dinner, for all of your time and your energy and your enthusiasm and your interest and your friendship. All right, have a great night. That's my cue. I'll be on in a few minutes. One more thing. I know I was just at the gas station. I was like, that's it, I'm done for the night. But one more thing. This is Slim's book, Realizing Empathy. It's huge and it's amazing. Beautifully designed. Now, this is his whole project. I have not read this. He gifted it to me today. I am going to read this. If anybody's interested in his work, go to the link in the description. I think it's realizingempathy.com, but I need to double check that. Amazing day, great catching up. I am exhausted. I'm going to go visit with the wife for a few minutes before I have to finish working for today, and then go to sleep so I can get up in a few hours and start working again tomorrow. Hashtag that hustle life, am I right? Have a good night. What the hell was that? That came out of nowhere. That was like 10 or 12 cop cars taking up the entire road.